Boom! How you been doing today, YouTube? Mad Boss is here, and this is going to be the long-awaited and much overdue review to Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. If y'all missed it already, how you like the shirt? Alright, so let's get right into it. I watched this movie several times over to make sure that I could get as many references, Easter egg, grasp the concept of the direction they're taking with this DC universe and, you know, whatnot. I am very pleased with the end product. However, I do acknowledge that the film had a few issues. The main problem that most people have with the film was its pacing. It did feel a little choppy at times, and I feel that might be a huge... I'm trying to do a video, shut up! Sorry about that, guys. Let's see here, where was I? I feel that since they took out more than a half hour of filming from the theatrical release, might have part of the reason why it felt so jumpy from scene to scene in certain places. I mean, some of them flew better than others for sure. But when you take like over a half hour of screen time, you can remove a lot of context and transitional periods, and I blame that for sure on WB executives. You know, f you for making, you know, Zack Snyder and the film editors and all that cut that much of their final product. A finished product, you want, when you take a puzzle, you want to look at the entire thing. You don't want to see like corners missing or random pieces missing out of the middle and you like expect you to fill it in for yourself. No, you want to see the whole thing in all its glory, which is how I feel the theatrical release to this film certainly felt to a lot of people, and I can totally see that it felt like an incomplete puzzle. It was only like maybe like 85% there. So, with that being said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Okay, so let's get right into the... Enough with so much negativity, let's get into more positive stuff. Ben Affleck's Batman. I'll be honest with you, when it was first announced, I felt he wasn't deserving of the role, because, I mean, I definitely haven't been following any of his latest pieces of work as of late, and that's a shame on me for that. And I was a lot, like 90% of the other audience that was making this argument. He already made an attempt at playing a superhero with Daredevil, and it flopped. It really flopped. I thought that movie was enjoyable when I was younger, and then when I rewatched it as a kid, I was like, the f*** is this? You got a dude who's blind, and, you know, he's got some fighting skills, but you got him, like, jumping farther than, you know, Spider-Man, or some random shit like that. But anyway, that's getting off topic. Yeah, and I certainly felt like he really wasn't deserving for the first, you know, couple of weeks that it was announced. Then I started to warm up to the idea a little bit more after I had seen some of the arguments being posted online. You know, he's grown as an actor. He is one of the best directors out there today. And this part I really appreciated is he's a fan of comic books. He's a fan of source material and this and, you know, stuff like that. And then I started to think, okay, if that's all the case, then he could really do the character justice. And then my doubts were even diminished even more when we saw this. That is a Batman right there. Point blank, that's Batman, okay? I just can't praise the performance that Ben Affleck gave it. From the first trailers that we saw, you know, huge and imposing and dominating, and oh my god, he just stole the screen anytime you saw him on film. It was great. I loved it. His Bruce Wayne was really good too. I actually feel that Ben Affleck might be the best Batman I've seen on the silver screen yet. And the reason I say that is because he got the domination and agile aspect to Batman hands down, and then he got the kind of snarky, smart aleck type of aspect to Bruce Wayne as well, but still having that damaged and, you know, sort of broken aspect to his character as well. I've never really seen any on-screen portrayal get both sides so well, because up until this point, Michael Keaton's Batman had been my favorite, and Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne had been my favorite for that too. But then the flip side to both of those, Christian Bale's Batman was good, but I could never really take his voice seriously. Sorry, that's just my opinion. And then, of course, we didn't really see a whole lot of Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne. Not a lot. At least not these, you know, smart aleck, you know, public view that he often portrays out to lead people away from learning who he really is. Anyway, Ben Affleck's Batman, hands down my favorite on-screen Batman I've ever seen, and Bruce Wayne together. Despite the fact that, you know, a lot of people are like, well, what's Zack Snyder doing to the character? Batman doesn't kill people. I think I'm just okay with it because I grew up with Michael Keaton's Batman, and Michael Keaton's Batman did kill. Not to mention that anyone that doesn't know this, Batman, in his true origin in the comics, way back in like the 40s or early 30s, whatever year it was that he started, he did kill then too. He didn't start out with his no killings moral code. That came in later. And of course, everyone could argue, well, that's a big part of his mythos now. Why would you just desert that? But I think what Zack Snyder's trying to do, this is my opinion, I think what he's trying to do is show character development in the sense that he had that moral code, and then just so much time passing that he realized it wasn't getting the job done. He lost his family, as you saw in those letters, and of course, ha 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 jokes on you, believed to be the death of Jason Todd. Stuff like that can certainly push a man over the edge, right? There is room for redemption. You can come back from that, and I think that's what Zack Snyder's trying to show with this character at the end of the film, where Superman is supposed to bring Batman back to the light, as you saw at the very start when you see Bruce Wayne being lifted, and like the symbolism in that can be taken like many ways, but I personally feel that's what's happened here, and why Bruce said, I failed him in life, but I won't fail him in death. Oh, sorry, spoiler alert there. I'll put a spoiler alert about 5 seconds before I say that. Any of you watching this would have seen the film by now. Yeah, he can come back from that, and I argue that is another reason that I feel that's what's happening. If y'all have seen screenshots of the Batmobile in BVS or paid close attention in the film, you would have seen that it has a turret right on the front, right? And he tears through a car with it. But in screenshots we've seen of Suicide Squad, that turret's gone. It's not there anymore. So we could either argue that the Batman's role in that film is either just in the past, or if it is in current continuity, maybe he reinforces his moral code, and we don't know. So we'll find out. I just say reserve judgment for now on that, okay? If you wanted to still say Ben Affleck was a terrible Batman, he did good with what he was given. You cannot argue that, okay? Any complaints you could have about what you saw would have to be with the character, not the portrayal, alright? But that's enough on Ben Affleck's Batman, because I can't praise it enough. Henry Cavill's Superman, again, was good for me. He wasn't the bitch Boy Scout that everyone makes his character out to be, and I think that's a big problem why he can feel so unrelatable, is because he's not humanized enough. He's supposed to be this great god that no one really can relate to. But no, Henry Cavill, the direction that they're taking the character, and combined with his portrayal, really humanized the character for me. You sympathize with him. The whole world is, not the whole world, but a good chunk of it is against him and what he stands for, and they're like, who's this guy? Like, he can wipe us out if he really wanted to, but he hasn't. That's what makes him Superman. He has the ability to do basically anything he wants, but he just wants to help. And he said it. He just wants to help, but no one's really believed him thus far. So I really like the emphasis on that side of the character. I never really grew up with the Superman movies. I was definitely more introduced to the character through Smallville. and loved Tom Welling's performance. It was always good. I grew up with that. But I have to say, I think Henry Cavill's Superman might be edging out to be the #1 favorite for me now. He's big, he's brooding at times, not always, because that would be ripping off Batman. I just enjoyed it. It was good. You know, the whole line, "Stay down. If I wanted it, you'd be dead already." That shows edge, but also restraint. I like that. Okay, that's a good blend. Okay, so keep doing that with Superman's character, and I'll stay happy. Wonder Woman. Her part wasn't huge in the film, as you all probably know by now if you've seen it or from other reviews. But what I got, I was so happy with. So happy. You just got the right amount of her that basically got a taste of what Diana Prince's portrayal would be like in the future Wonder Woman standalone film we'll get next year. And we definitely got a feel of what her Wonder Woman would be like, especially during her fighting scenes. Her entrance, hands down, was the best entrance of the three. Okay, Batman's was a very, very close second, with that horror sort of haunted mansion type feel, and then the way he scurries across the top of the roof, that was epic. I love that. But the epicness that Wonder Woman had when she comes in, just BAM! I loved it. Oh my god, it was so good. And her theme song, definitely my favorite. If they do not bring that back into future films, I am going to rage. I swear to god. That music was epic as shit. And she can throw down. I love that. You know, people are, I guess, some people on social media that don't know Wonder Woman or follow really DC all that much, they don't really understand the whole smile that she has when she gets knocked down by a certain someone. I don't want to have another spoiler. So in her fight, she has this random smile that felt off to some people. She just, and they don't understand that she's an Amazon. She loves to fight, and she, from the looks of it, she hasn't had a good, fight like this in some time. She hasn't really been able to go all out in a serious brawl. That is a good homage to her true character. Again, to the source material. I love nods to that, okay? Because that's honestly what we all grew up with, or what we all familiarize ourselves with. Those that are truly familiar with the character, they know where they come from, and this and that, and that's why I feel that this movie is definitely more for fans. General moviegoers might feel a little lost, and the critics, of course, they're... It could be argued that they're all just Marvel fanboys, but obviously they just had gripes with the film that they couldn't get past, so that's neither here nor there. The Trinity, awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Getting to Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. I didn't hate it, I just didn't love it. Really like it even. It was alright. Okay? For what it was fine. Jesse Eisenberg's portrayal, he gave it his all, and so give him that. Give him his props. The man's a good actor. I loved him in The Social Network, but I just feel that certain parts, I don't know if that was put into the character or if that was Jesse Eisenberg putting his own spin on it, but I felt certain parts were definitely overacted. Giving a speech at his banquet or something, and he goes, "Well, that's not very fair. You give man a lightning bolt. Zoom!" I was like, what? How random is that? But then other parts I really thoroughly enjoyed, especially when he's trying to be, imposing his will on another as if they don't have a choice. Like, you are gonna fight him to the death. Black and blue. Fight night. Like that, I liked. Okay, because now he's being controlling. Okay, it's the controlling aspect of the character, which I've always enjoyed. But then, of course, he takes it too far. He starts beating a dead horse, and the greatest gladiator match in the history of the world. God versus man. Day versus night. Son of Krypton versus Bat of Gotham. It's like, okay, we get it. You don't have to keep going on and on and on. Just get to the point. So, certain parts like that, it's kind of like a 50-50, a catch-22. You like the first part, like certain parts, but you don't like all of it because it's kind of overdone, but a little too much. I do, however, enjoy the aspect of the character where, kind of like Batman, he's trying to put a public front so that people don't suspect him, but he has much more trouble hiding it. Like at the end of his speech where he's like, "That's a pterodactyl," and thank you for coming. And he just switches like from one side to the other really quick because he's trying to catch himself. I did like that, okay? I definitely liked how they bald-headed the character, where he gets his head shaven. I won't... You know what? Screw it. The spoiler alert. He gets his head shaven due to being thrown in prison, okay? And I thought that was a very practical way of doing it, because it also gives ground to the character now being rehabilitated, his psyche. In prison, he can bulk himself up now to match the character that we're all familiar with from the comics. If necessary, if they don't want to bring Jesse Eisenberg back, they can recast him now, because if they want to make him look different from his time in prison, that would be the best time to do it. If they want to bring Jesse Eisenberg back, okay, fine. We've already seen his on-screen performance. It'll probably grow on me if they want to bring more of it in. I'm just kind of indifferent, okay? So that's that. We all knew that Jeremy Irons' Alfred was going to kill it. I loved him, and I loved how he was definitely more hands-on with stuff. I like seeing that kind of Alfred, one that's not so held back and just kind of a father figure. I like one that's more involved, like the one we got on Gotham. That is another good Alfred. Holy shit, can he throw down? On-screen performances were great. I loved pretty much everybody in the movie. I certainly felt the Easter eggs and the nod off to the source material and all that was great. I hope they do decide to release the full 3-hour version, because if they do, I mean, at this point, a lot of people can say it's kind of cheeky because it's just a way for DC to earn their $1 billion so that it can be a profitable film. They should have done the 3-hour release in the first place because it's a complete project. It would feel smoother no matter what they took away from it. It would just feel smoother for sure. It probably would have gotten a better reception from general moviegoers and especially critics, because the whole jumping back and forth in certain parts, the disjointing of scenes, obviously turned off a lot of people. So because I'm a DC fan, I was able to follow it, so it didn't bother me all that much. I saw the movie like 3 times and enjoyed it more each time I watched it, actually. So this movie definitely has replay value for sure. I'm actually going to introduce my rating system now, because I got suggestions from certain people that I should do that, so I'm going to do this out of 5 because I just thought of it in like a couple minutes in the shower. So 1 out of 5 for me would be boringly sane. I'm going to be related to madness because that's my whole thing, right? Number 2 out of 5 would be just a touch of crazy. Okay. Number 3 out of 5 would be pretty wild. Number 4 would be insane. 5 out of 5, creme de la creme, absolutely mad. Okay? That's my rating system. This one, I have to admit that it had certain issues with it. Mostly with the editing, I feel. Not so much the vision for the film would have been good. Was good. Execution of imagery was fantastic. It's just, yeah, the way it all meshed together. The fact that they took too much away, I feel, and also that it had 2 different writers. I wish Chris Terrio was on board right from the start. Just let him do his thing. And then we probably might have been even given another Best Picture nomination, just like Argo, but obviously that didn't happen, and I feel that's because he tried to take some stuff out of David Goyer's interpretation, and he didn't just make it his own, and that's, I don't think it just, you're trying to take 2 halves of 2 different pizzas and put them together and think it's all one pizza, but no, you don't have a whole thing, you have 2 halves. That mixed with the editing is what led to a majority of the problems that it had. But it was still a very enjoyable film for me. I do recommend you go watch it. Yeah, it definitely gets me excited for future films, especially Wonder Woman. Oh my god, I cannot wait for for the standalone Wonder Woman movie now. I think I knew Ben Affleck's performance was gonna just kill it after I saw the trailers, but I didn't know what to think about Wonder Woman. She looked the part when I saw this. I just didn't know how her performance would go. I thought I just wasn't sure. I thought maybe it would be too feminine, maybe it wouldn't have enough, imposing dominatrix and Amazon and all that stuff to it. But yeah, she was the whole package for the time that she had on screen. I just thoroughly enjoyed this film. I definitely had a lot of fun with it. I hope y'all did too. For anyone that didn't, I'm sorry that, it just didn't rub you the right way. And after, 20 minutes now of jibber jabber and listening to me banter and blah blah blah, y'all wanted to finally hear my grade. I'm gonna give this movie an insane rating, okay? I feel it's well deserving. It's not by any means a perfect movie, but it's not a bad movie either. Critics are being way too harsh on it, in my opinion, and that might even be affecting some of the general populace. Some people that would enjoy the movie are now, their so-called open mind tainted, you might say, because they went in thinking it's going to be bad, and puts a damper on your experience, and that sucks. But I had a good time with it, and that's ultimately what matters. If you had a good time with the movie, then who gives a shit what anyone else has to say, them. I think that's it for me. If you enjoyed my video, please, I know I rambled on for a long time, just please, hit the like button, subscribe, share it among your friends if you like. Yeah, I'm done. Catch you on the next one. Lock, load.